New Evercade hardware, new toy smoke break, A1up's lame partnership, and a huge Unico update. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened this week in home arcades. I can tell by the stream quality, this is going to be a rough one. So everybody bear with me if you can. I think the internet is what it is at this point. So we're just going to roll with it. We're just going to absolutely roll with it. Hope everybody has had a great couple weeks. I know I've been kind of out of it for a while. Over in Taiwan, it's been an adventure to say this. To say the least. I'm drinking coffee tonight. I'm not drinking bourbon because it is 6 a.m. It's 6 a.m. It is not nighttime at all. Oh wow, this is going to be a rough one. I can see the stream is just cutting in and out. This is going to be great. We're going to rock through it, and hopefully YouTube will save me on the other side of the live stream. You can actually watch this. So anyway, yeah, tonight is morning here. I'm drinking coffee. I'm 12 hours ahead of you. So welcome to the future. This is what it's like 12 hours in the future. It's a phenomenal thing. It's a phenomenal thing. It's great. Speaking of great, there's been a lot of great stuff going on in home arcades, in the home arcade space, in handheld consoles, all kind of cool stuff going on. So I'm excited to talk about all that with you. Also, stuff to talk about is something else to talk about is the poll question. So tonight or this morning, I guess I got to get that straight. Tonight, I'm saying tonight. I'm actually going to be going home tomorrow. So I will be home tomorrow. But that's going to be also weird, too, because I'm going to be going back in time. So to get here, I left on Tuesday morning, and I arrived on Wednesday afternoon. Going back home, it's going to be just like the exact opposite. It's going to be like one day. So I'm going to leave Friday morning and get home Tuesday morning and get home Tuesday night. That's going to be really, really weird. So jet lag will ensue for sure. So we talked about what I'm drinking, which is coffee. Let's talk about something else. That's the poll question this week. We have a poll question, and if you don't know what we're talking about, we'll get into it a little bit later. I'm sure you probably know about it because A1up has really done nothing at all. This is the only thing that they've announced. And it was a partnership with, what's the name of the place? Taskmaster, help a task, something. I forget. We'll get into it a little bit later. But let me know what you think about that latest partnership. Do you think it's great? Would you say who cares? Or would you say, like most of you saying, where are the new games? Because that's the problem. I think that no matter what they announce, if it's not a new game, a new cab, that's going to be a problem. But let me know what you think about that in the comment section. The poll question is right there. It's rock and rolling. So let me know what you think about that. Okay, so with all that out of the way, the glitchiest stream ever. So this is going to be a rough one. I'm going to get killed in the comment section, but that's okay. That's okay. Wow. Yeah. taskrabbit. Yeah. Thank you for, I guess maybe I'm coming through okay. At least the audio is clear. I'm glad the audio is clear. The video, well, I don't know. Maybe we're a little bit too close to China. So craptastic. Oh, that's nice. Very well put, Jason. Very well put. So speaking of that, let me go ahead and say hi to everybody in the comments section. Scroll up here. We're going to talk to the top 10, the first 10 comments of the night. And coming in, or the day. I'm so messed up. This is so 12 hours out of whack is nuts. I feel for everybody in like Australia having to deal with this. Number one is Angelo P. What's going on, buddy? Thank you so much for being here. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. When he left the comment, good morning for me right now. Fox and Chad, I hope everyone had an amazing weekend. Looking forward to the Nova Blast news. And yes, it looks like you are the first. So there we go. Thank you so much for being here. Coming in at number 2 is David G. I was almost first. What do I get for second place? Looking forward to the show. You get the opportunity to be here and say you were second, which, listen, I mean, there's only one that we got there before you did. So you were only bested by one. So I guess that's something. That's really not a consolation prize at all. Kind of sucks. Okay, moving on. This is Game Broker 84. What's going on, buddy? Always good to see you in chat, man. Happy Sunday, Fox. Can't wait for the show tonight. Are you going to be pre-ordering the new Evercade? I'm going to get to that a little bit later. I do not have a console, and this is the one I might jump on with that good price mini thoughts to be shared tonight. We're talking about that for sure. Thank you so much for being here, man. Beach Native 78, how the hell are you? Somebody took your top spot. You were rocking and rolling it for a while. You were the number one, but coming in at number 4, I guess, is not bad. What's up, Foxy? Hope you had a good weekend, great weekend. Guys, I've been working every day. I have not had a day off, and the project's just been going rough. So I just had to work every day. So it is what it is. It worked yesterday also. So, but this is Monday morning. It's a new day. It's a new week, and then I'm getting my ass home tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that. But I hope everybody else had a great weekend. Stoked for tonight's show. Let's go. Copyright infringement. If Danny's here, he's not going to be happy about that one. But hashtag 19K Fox Nation is always a good thing to do. Coming in at number 5 spot is Sir Sega. Always a pleasure, sir. How are you, Sir Sega? Yo, Fox, hope all is well. Sorry to hear about the delay on the Nova Blast. I would rather it be delayed and get all the bugs worked out. No one wants a broken machine. Lots to talk about that tonight. Some late breaking news that actually just dropped some stuff that I thought I wasn't going to be able to talk about. So I can't wait to talk about that with you. And coming in at number 6 is Frank D. What's going on, Frank D? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Putting in more overtime this week than I have the rest of the week off. Oh, good. I mean, you do what you got to do, man. Load it up front, and then you can get the rest of the week off. Then I have the rest of the week off. Sunday is on last week's timesheet. Okay. Well, Sunday is on last week's timesheet. So I guess, but I'm also on Monday. I guess I got to change. I should have changed the name of the show to really last week because it's Monday for me. So I don't know. It's all very confusing. It's once again, time travel. It's a hell of a thing. It's a hell of a drug. Basil Hayden tonight. Very, very nice. Not for me, but I wish I had a glass for sure. Haven't had any bourbon. We did some Jim Beam the other night. We found some Jim Beam in a corner store. 7-Eleven is really big here. If you've been to Taiwan, 7-Eleven is really big, and there's a Family Mart right next to it, and they had a bunch of stuff, and they had Jim Beam, so we had some of that the other night. Basil Hayden tonight, but while I'm sober enough to enjoy it, then I need a lot of cheap stuff. That sounds good. That's the winning formula for sure. Coming in at number 7 is, I got to hit my pen. There we go. Gino 7823 iffy. Good Sunday, everyone. Hope Fox has good intel for us. I have some good intel, but they actually ended up sharing a lot of it, which is really good because I wanted them to be just as transparent as they possibly could. Coming in at number 8 is Show Gecko. Hey, Fox, glad you're doing well out there. Be safe. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, as always. Hey, there's my brother. Gotham City Arcade, coming in at number 9. What's going on, buddy? Hey, Battle, welcome back. Evo 2024 will be here in 40-something days. Do you have any early predictions? I can't say anything. It's going to be, Evo's going to be something to look forward to. Let me just leave it there. And coming in the top spot, the last spot, the 10th spot is Kevin V. Clausen. Finally back on U.S. soil. What a relief. No. Judging by my internet connection, you know I am not back home at all. So, yeah, sorry about that. But hopefully, well, no, not hopefully. I'm getting home tomorrow, and then we're going to do this show live the right way. Wow. Yeah, the video froze. Isn't that wonderful? We're going to keep on rocking anyway because I can maybe post this as a video next time. Oh, this is horrible. This is so great. This is why I hate doing this when I'm on the road. Absolutely hate it. But nothing is more relieving than a $3 super chat from Kevin V. Clausen. Thank you so much for your super chat, buddy. Really appreciate it. Hope we can get this stream at least moving in a decent direction. Damn. Thank you so much again for your super chat, buddy. And of course, you know where you got to go, and there's only one place to go, and that's the pit.
Finish him. Melina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Thank you so much for the super chat, buddy, as always. And following up with another super chat is another $2. And you are American, right? I am American, but not in America currently, sadly. Okay, everybody, that's the top 10, the first 10 comments. Thank you so much for everybody being here and being patient with my video issues. It just is what it is, guys. There's no good way to do this. So it is what it is. So we're going to keep on moving, and let's go on and move on to the first topic. Let's take that off the screen if we can. There we go. Come on, computer, work. Speaking of work, Evercade has been putting in some work for sure. Lots of stuff going on in Evercade. I am not an early adopter of Evercade. I'm not. I just haven't. I liked what I saw in the beginning, but there's no real reason for me to jump in. The announcement of the Capcom games really gave me kind of a reason to think about, well, maybe this Evercade is not something to just be forgotten, you know. And I heard a lot of good things from other people, and I thought, well, I'll take the plunge on the hyper super mega. So, you know, the little handheld. They had the Capcom games built in, and that was my first experience with Evercade, and it was really really a nice experience. One thing I know this is a little thing, but the way that the cartridges actually slide into the back of the device. It's just got a great firm feel, and everything just really runs smooth. The user interface is simplistic, smooth. It's a great experience. So I was thinking that, you know, while this super hyper mega ultra combo is nice, it's a little device, kind of hard on my hands because I got these big goofy hands. I thought, well, maybe it's time to give the old EXP a shot and take a look. But I really never really liked the all white color, and the black was like a limited edition thing for those that the early adopters that got in. So I didn't, you know, really didn't have an opportunity to get one of those, and I really wanted one new. And so I just decided, well, maybe I'll just wait and see what happens. And I did wait. I did see what happened, and I saw this. Check it out. It's the Evercade VSR and the EXPR. Yes, the Nostalgia Edition is here finally. After all our years of waiting and speculating, we have finally got some confirmation the Nostalgia is indeed the head guru. He is in charge of Evercade. No, I'm just kidding. This is a little bit more than just a refresh on the outside, an exterior upgrade or whatever. It's just a, you know, from the outside, it's really just a revision of what they already really have, but I think in a much better, clean form factor. I like the overall look of this. Just right off the bat, let me just say, I really, really like the way this looks. This looks really good. I think if you just went all black like they've done in the past, you know, shiny, glossy black, everything that you own is black, either glossy black or matte black. So the fact that they went with the charcoal looks really good. The baby blue, indigo, whatever those little the highlight looks really good. I would have preferred maybe orange if the system looked exactly like it was, but the highlights were like an orange. That would look really good. But I'm telling you, the light blue does not look bad at all. It looks nice. I really do. I really like it. It looks really good. I'm just watching the stream over there. Why is my camera so messed up? I don't know. It's really weird. But anyway, so this looks great. Now, the form factor itself really hasn't changed much at all. I mean, the way the controller is going to feel in your hand with the VS and the way that the XP is going to feel in your hand is not going to be any different. It just is what it is. You know, they haven't really changed this as far as there's no bigger screen. There's no radically different controller. You know, it's just the standard stuff, but they've really given this an exterior refresh that I think looks really, really good. The charcoal and the blue, it looks really good. There are some differences, though, with the EXP, and this is something that it's really worth noting. I talked about how, hey, man, these Capcom games came built in, and I like that. I think that was the reason why I tried out the first little handheld they had. This is not going to come with those games. Now, the weird thing about licensing, the weird world that we all know is so very important when you're talking about like A1UP and locking down licensing and getting new cabinets. That extends to everything, even the Evercade handheld world. And I think that license has just sort of run its course, you know, and they decided I was reading some of their statements, and they said, listen, to give you the best value and to be able to drop the price, we're not going to include those anymore. So there's not going to be any included Capcom games, which is a shame, but I really would have loved to get a Capcom cartridge. That's the thing. This is a cartridge system, and having the games included was a nice feature. It was a nice, you know, add-on. Nice thing to have, but I really wanted the cartridge because that's really kind of, if you think about it, this is really the big selling point of this. This is the thing that makes it stand out, is that cartridge. Collecting the cartridges, having the small little boxes and putting them on a shelf. And they're like the perfect size too. They're not too big. They're not too small. They're a little bit, maybe they're not quite as thick as the Genesis box for the game, and they're not near as tall. So it's a good little size. But yeah, I really wanted a physical cartridge. So the fact that we're losing the Capcom games, I don't know if it's the end of the world. I really don't think that it is. It is a very nice thing to have, but this is basically the selling point of this is, hey, this is a cartridge system. These are official ROMs, licensed, and partnerships and all that good stuff. No Capcom. Also, no HDMI out. I'm on the fence about this one. Now, this is something that I think is a nice feature to have if you don't have the VS and you don't plan on getting the VS. I don't really plan on getting the VS, or in this case, the VSR. I just don't. I just don't want that. I want something. I want a cool little all-in-one device, and I like handhelds. I travel. Something cool like this where I can break out and just play some games is more of what I'm looking for. It's nothing. It's really not a knock against the VS. It's fine, but I don't need another little box plugged into my TV. I only have so many HDMIs. So having the HDMI would have been nice because it was something that was on the original one. Now, to drop the Capcom is one thing. To drop the HDMI, that's a feature that a lot of people, I think, enjoy. If you want to do some, if you want to do some capture, you want to capture some gameplay, or if you just want to have the option to just plug it into, plug it into the TV and just watch what you're playing. Having that option is really nice. But this thing is also a lot cheaper. It's only $99. And I think that the trade-off is probably going to be worth it. They did say that the battery life maybe not the battery life, but the fact that they don't have an HDMI out anymore, that circuitry is gone. So it should run a little bit better. Maybe it should use up a little less battery. But they are simplifying the electronics on the inside. So there's a little less there going on. So maybe I doubt you're going to see any real battery improvements, nothing really to write home about, but those are the two big changes with the EXP. Let's move on. And the Dash R, don't know what the Dash R means. R is for race, reverse. I don't know. The Dash R is something that, if you know, let me know in the comment section. Cause I really, we're joking about nostalgia, but hell, that actually could be what it's about. This is the VS. This is the Versus. This is the console that plugs into your TV. Not bad, but I think that if Evercade just released this, they would not make the splash that they've made. Really, I just don't think that they would probably have as much excitement about their company without the EXP. I just think the handheld is really where it's at, and this is a nice thing to have. But the controller is maybe it's comfortable. I'm not going to say it's not comfortable. It doesn't look comfortable, but maybe it is. Maybe it is, but there's a lot of set-top boxes out there that connect to your TV. Like I said, that's why I'm not going to get one because I don't really necessarily need another one. But yeah, so I think that this is fine. No updates at all other than the color scheme, which is an absolute improvement. This looks really, really cool. I do like this. I do like this at all. But I do like this a lot. This is definitely something I'm looking at. The EXP is definitely something I'm very, very interested in. And so as far as what am I going to get, I am absolutely going to pre-order the EXP. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it because it looks really good and I enjoy it. I already have a little bit of a collection. I think I've got like 8. Yeah, I don't have 10. I have 8 cartridges. So I would absolutely love. I got the Duke Nukem, all the Duke Nukems. I have the Void Special Edition, Full Void, which is a game I want to get into. But I really just can't. My hands are kind of cramping playing the little Super Mega Ultra Pocket, and but it's a cool system, but it's just a little too small for me. So this is going to be the way to go. So I'm definitely going to pre-order the EXPR. I really want to check this thing out. And there's also other stuff to check out. Let me go full blurry screen. Yeah, this looks great. Other things to check out besides some hardware is something else. Where is it? Did I not do it? Okay, yeah. So here we go. Let's check out something else going. So it's not just the hardware, which is, I think, a vast improvement and something that probably needed to be done because all black and all white, it needed something else. It needed something else to stand out. So I'm glad they did that. They're doing something else. They're reinvesting in, the games, specifically the game cartridges and how much they can hold. Let's check this out. So I actually got an email about this from a viewer after I saw and posted the announcement of the Giga Cart, a new cart format with from Evercade that will allow for larger, more recent retro games. 2 Giga Cart collections will be released in 2024. So we're going to get 2 of these just this year. Games so large they require the Giga Cart. And the email I got after I posted this, because I took this and I'm like, oh, that's just cool. Somebody told me, hey, listen, Fox, they're going to come out with Tomb Raider. I'm like, oh, you're crazy. What? He's like, no, I actually saw the listing on Amazon and took a screenshot before they took it down. And so that was probably 5 days ago. And so, of course, before I could even really put anything together and talk about that, Evercade announced that they're coming out with a Tomb Raider, not just a Tomb Raider game, the cartridge, which you can actually go ahead and get the cartridge if you already have the system, but they're going to bundle it with this EXP. So that's going to be really cool. I'm excited about that. And so that is exactly the one that I'm going to order. I'm going to pre-order the Evercade EXP bundled with the Tomb Raider, because I know I have Tomb Raider in many different forms, but this is just another really cool way to check it out. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about these companies pushing forward, not just getting stale, just sort of sitting there and just sort of making the same thing. Not to say that Evercade isn't moving forward and doing things. I mean, they're going after a lot of different games, a lot of different licensing, and it's interesting. A lot of that stuff has been sort of under the radar stuff, oddball games, indie stuff, which I think is great that those companies have an outlet. They have a way to get their games out there. That's great. But you need some bigger titles to really bring everything else in. I hope my video is not freezing. So yeah, I think this is a big. I'm not gonna say it's a huge step forward, but it is a step forward, and it's really a progression of the Evercade. It's nice to see that it's not just, like I said, it's not growing still. They're pushing forward. What other games could we see? I think I'm not gonna say the sky's the limit. Those big titles, Capcom, is going to be something that you're probably not going to get a cartridge for. It's just not going to happen. But talking about Tomb Raider, now we're definitely going into PlayStation 1 era. What other PlayStation 1 games are out there that we could potentially see on the Evercade? And if it'll run that emulation, great. I think there's a ton of classics out there. Now, how far can they push that? I'm not exactly sure. I'm not 100%. I'm not up to speed on their hardware, their chipset. What could they handle? I think that a larger cartridge means that you're going to see them really pushing forward and trying different things. I'm excited to see about maybe what the homebrew crew can kind of come up with and what can they get to run on this thing. I got to do a little more research, but I'm excited to see what's going on, because they've released a roadmap, and this came out a little while ago also with nothing on it. I can't remember. I posted this same roadmap and it had nothing on it, right? And I was like, these guys are up to something, and they are. So they've talked about some of their releases. There's a Tomb Raider. You got the hardware release in July. I'm excited about that. Pre-orders, if you don't know, pre-orders for this are going to go live on April 30th. So just a couple days from now, 8 days from now, you're going to be able to pre-order the EXP-R and VSR. This is the roadmap as it currently stands. You're looking in September, my birthday month. September, it's not going to be hardware. It's going to be some more games. Interested to see what they come up with. The games are kind of hit and miss for me, because some of that stuff is real niche, and I just, I'm really not that excited about it. But the hardware is something I'm definitely excited about, because I think that with this first new hardware announcement, there were a lot of people that were disappointed, because they're saying, well, this is just a reskin, and I totally get that. If you're an early adopter of Evercade, I get it. It does seem like it's just kind of a refresh. There's nothing new for me here because I have the original, especially those of you that have the one with the Capcom games built in. You get the HDMI out. Why would you even bother? This isn't new hardware. What the hell are you doing? I think because of that, the new hardware announcement in November is going to be something different. I think it's not just going to be the same form factor with a different color. I don't think we're going to see more of the Hyper Megatech, the small handhelds. I don't think we're going to see. I think we may actually see something different. I could be wrong. I think most people think that it's probably just going to be more of those small handhelds, the Hyper Pocket, Super Hyper Pocket, Hyper Super Pocket. Yeah, I think there's too many adjectives, so we're just going to call it the Super Pocket. I think that the Super Pocket, another Super Pocket variant, is probably the most likely. That wouldn't really surprise anybody at all, but I think that they should probably really consider an actual new piece of hardware when you say you have a new piece of hardware coming out, or people are not going to be that happy. What could that be? I don't know. A lot of people are drawing comparisons with the Evercade EXP-R to like a Nintendo Lite or the Switch Lite. So if this is the lower cost entry level device, what would be the next level? What would be the higher end? Are we talking about a bigger screen on the EXP? Are they talking about a bigger chipset? Maybe we're talking about a bigger chipset that's going to be able to run more advanced games, because there are a lot of indie titles that are, maybe not current gen, but last gen, that require a lot of hardware to push them. So even if they just go after indie titles that are much more, robust, much more modern, you're gonna you really require a different chipset. Maybe that's what that is. Maybe it is the EXP with a larger screen. So the EXPR would be your entry level. That's where you start, and then you can step it up to the bigger hardware. That would make sense to me. That would be a big investment on the company's part. Is it going to work? Well, I think that if they're going to go after some of these bigger titles, more recent titles, you're going to have to do something on the hardware side. You're going to have to beef up that chipset. So I am excited about what's going on with Evercade. If you are, let me know in the comment section. If you aren't, if you're disappointed with what they came out with, that's the thing about saying new hardware. When you talk about new hardware, the hardware should probably be new. Okay, moving on to you know what? Let's just take a break. Let's take a smoke break. Let's take a New Wave Toys smoke break. Coming on, this is probably the most controversial thing that New Wave Toys, besides the pinball machine. That's a topic for another discussion. This is probably the most controversial thing that New Wave Toys has actually come out with, which is kind of saying a lot. I didn't really think that the backlash, if you can call it that, would have or really should have been this crazy, because these are just little replicas of nostalgia pieces that we saw in gas stations and arcades back in the day. Change machines, Coke machines, all that stuff. And this is really, in my opinion, just another one of those things. Let's talk about the email that came out this week or last week. I guess it was last week. I don't even know. Once again, I'm from the future. I can't be held responsible for anything I say. Good day. But this is what the email said. Good day, everybody. Thank you for pre-ordering the USB cigarette or USB automat art. Oh, that's right, Art-O-Mat. I thought I wasn't into that at all. I want a little cigarette machine. I don't know about your Art-O-Mat. That's fine. I know that exists in some places, but I was wanting the little cigarette vending machine. We apologize for the delay. Thank you for your patience and tremendous support. We finally have pre-production samples totally dialed in, plus a clear production schedule and a bonus special feature to share with you today. The pre-production sample. We're really pleased with how these turned out and happy to share the following pre-production images of both of our USB machines. This is, of course, these are going to be USB chargers. So for those of you who aren't familiar with New Wave Toys, if you get a couple of their little machines and you have it set up on your shelf and you want to be able to keep them charged at all times, these are going to be just a USB hub where you can plug those machines into and keep them all charged. And it's, it looks cool. In the past, it was a coin change machine, which makes a ton of sense for an arcade. This makes sense too, depending on where your arcade was. So this is one of the pre-production images. You can see they've added labels for all the cigarettes, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Let's go over to the other two. These are all the new. These are the two new images. You're going to be able to, if you're looking at the cool cigarettes, you're like, well, why is it like green mountains over here or whatever and blue mountains over here? That's going to be a card you can slide and you can change that look. So you're going to have a couple different options there. That's the Art-O-Mat over there to the left. So if you're into the Art-O-Mat look, which is they're both real retro, cool looking. And if you don't want anything referencing cigarettes, it's a cool little option for you. One thing I'm really digging, and it's hard to see. I tried zooming in and it's all pixelated, but obviously the cigarette company, the brand of cigarette, Cool, was not spelled with a C, it was spelled with a K. So it was a little bit of a take on, those cigarettes, without having to pay licensing to cigarette companies. That way, cigarette companies are not benefiting by this at all. For those of you that are worried about it, you're not going to have any issues. What I noticed is when I zoomed in, excuse me, when I zoomed in here, they have come up with parody decals for all the major cigarette companies. It's so cool. There's like, instead of Marlboros, like Marlborn, and I wanted to see what the word, what do they use for camel? I think it's something else. Maybe it's caramel or something. I don't know, but it's pretty funny. Instead of Winston, it's Winstone or something, or Winston. So they've taken the time to come up with little parody decals for all the major brands of cigarettes, and I think that that's really cool. I think that it's like I said, it's really funny to sit there and look at that, and for those of us who grew up, in that era, and it's gonna be fun. Now, what's the difference between these two as far as like the pre-production and what we saw? Now, this is what we saw. The image on the left is what we saw, and just really not dialed in at all. Pretty bare bones. This is the original, I guess, concept. And then on the right is the newest one that just came out. You can see you're going to have all your little pull handles. Will the pull handles actually pull? I doubt it. It would be kind of cool to have that, but you're talking about a lot of mechanisms that really would just do nothing. But it would kind of be a nice little added feature, especially knowing that they're going to come with little bitty packs of fake cigarettes or fake smokes. If you could just have those dispensed, kind of like they did with the Coke machines. If you could just maybe pull like, if there was one that you could actually pull and it would drop the cigarettes, a little pack out would be kind of interesting. That'd be kind of cool. But you can see there's a pretty big difference there as far as where they started and where they are now. Attention to detail, and that's really what these things are. Is just little nostalgia machines, and little things like this are just, it's just aesthetically, it takes you back. If you're of that era, if you remember this stuff, it's just cool to see. There was a little bit of more information here. This is talking about the bonus item. So the bonus feature, we're pleased to reveal that we'll be including a bonus set of aluminum legs that are anodized in a contrasting color to the machine to customize the look of the new USB machine. So it's a little bit different. Excuse me, a little bit different. The USB cigarette machine includes black anodized and silver anodized legs set of 4. It doesn't include the base. It just includes the little legs. So that's going to be just a little thing that they've done to try to make it stand out. Now, really, they also in that email did say that, hey, listen, if you're tired of waiting, we understand. Just email us and we'll give you your money back. I think that's probably gonna be their standard, the standard response to what's going on, because they do. This does take a little bit of time. Well, I'm not gonna say a little bit of time. It takes a long time. Sometimes, well, not really sometimes, almost all the time, you're gonna pre-order this and forget about it because it's gonna take a long time. It's not a quick turnaround. You're buying in at a well, let me get this image off. I'm getting let's just throw this back up there because I'm all pixelated. You're buying into something at a very, very early stage of the game. They're very early pre-production, and it's just something that you're gonna have to just understand that when you go with New Wave Toys, it's gonna take some time to get these things going. Now, you don't have to do any of this. You don't have to pre-order anything. You can just wait and and see what happens and see the final result and take the chance of getting this on their website, because that's the thing. Things don't usually last on their website very long. These are kind of limited run items. They don't like to go back and revisit. They don't re-release anything. So it's kind of, once you get it, you're going to be the only one that's going to be able to have it. But as far as the smoking thing goes, listen, this is parody. They're not advertising actual cigarettes. They're not advertising with actual companies. They're not reaching out and giving these tobacco companies any money. So they're not benefiting in any way. This is something that's going to sit in your little mini arcade. It's not for everybody, but it is for those that really remember this stuff. And I grew up in the South. My parents didn't really smoke it. My dad smoked for a little bit, but my aunts and uncles, my grandfather, and these things were everywhere. And I remember that. I remember, being with them and watching them pull the tab and the cart, the little pack comes out. Back then, it just wasn't that big a deal. It's definitely got a different stigma on it now. And I get it. But come on, relax, people. I mean, don't get all bent out of shape, because this is something I think is just going to be for certain people. I appreciate the nostalgia. I appreciate the attention to detail. I appreciate the time they're taking to go through and come up with different parody companies for all these different sticks. That's going to be the fun part for me. Just want to open this thing up and read all that. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. If it's not your bag, baby, that's okay. I like the fact that they're adding a little few extra things here to make it a little bit special, and always offering to give your money back if you decide you've had to wait a little too long for that ever looming smoke break. Speaking of breaks, who needs one? RK1UP probably needs one, but they're not going to get one with me tonight because this has just been absolutely sad. So once again, I keep looking at my screen. I'm just so pixelated. It's been sad. RK1UP has really brought a lot of us together with their little fake, with their little arcade machines, little recreations that we had a ton of fun, not just buying and playing and hanging out and talking about, but also assembling. I mean, these things go together pretty easy, and a lot of us had a lot of fun with it. Many people have done live streams about, hey, we're just going to sit here, we're going to have a beer, we're going to have a coffee, and we're going to assemble the new RK1UP, cabinet, whichever one it is. And it's just been a lot of fun. I've done it before. It's great. A lot of videos discussing about it. A lot of people talking about how, listen, I I like to break these things out. It's Friday after school. Me and my son sit together and we put this thing together, and we like to assemble it. And the assembly process has been kind of, part of the good thing, right? Part of the experience. Some of the fun of owning the cabinet has actually been putting them together because they're really not that difficult. But some people do have struggles with it, I guess. Is it enough people to warrant this? When you see Arcade 1UP talk about an exciting new partnership, and you open up your email and they reference partnership, you should not be thinking of this. You should be thinking of, wow, what is the new? Oh, they partnered with another company. What's the latest acquisition? What's the latest title they're going to bring to us? Oh, what's the cabinet going to look like? That's what you're talking about. That's what should be. They should never, ever, ever refer to this. Before we even get into it, this should never have been referred to as any kind of a partnership, because we're thinking licensing, games, because that's what they've been all about, right? This whole time. Games, licenses, titles, what's coming next? Not this. So what they've basically done is they sent out an email, and everybody got excited initially when they saw the title of the email. Oh, wow, something's cool, something neat, something different. No, not at all. Not in the slightest bit. What they have done is they have partnered with TaskRabbit. And this is, for those you don't know, I don't know, because I'm a fairly handy guy. A lot of y'all out there are handy yourself. You do a lot of your work yourself. I do as much of my own work as I can. And when I can't, I'll call a specific professional to do that, right? So I really don't need a handyman service. This is a handyman service. This TaskRabbit is a handyman service, and they'll come and do little things for you. If you're having trouble with specific certain tasks, they'll come out and they'll help you out. We'll get into the price in a little bit later. But they've partnered with TaskMat. They've come together. They're going to work together with TaskRabbit. What is the nature of this partnership, this collaboration? It's a $10 off coupon. That's really it. I mean, it's not like it's not like they're having like these training courses that I guess Tasker is what they're calling them. If you work for TaskRabbit, you can go to like Arcade 1Up's university and go through a training course and put all this stuff together. It's just really, really, you're just offering a coupon. You don't say it's a partnership. You're doing this. I don't know what you're thinking when you do this. It's ridiculous, but it's silly to call this a partnership. I mean, because this is something that anybody could have already done before Arcade 1UP said anything. Makes no sense to call it a partnership. Just say, hey, listen, we offer a coupon code. Here's a coupon code. Use this, and you'll get $10 off. But they call it some kind of a weird partnership. It's just an overuse of the term that we associate with licensing and games, and I think rightly so, because that's what it's been. But this was a statement from an interview that David McIntosh gave, and I really wanted to share this with you because this is in reference to the TaskRabbit partnership. And here's the article. Here's a quote. Listening to our community has always been a top priority. Arcade 1UP, right? Said David McIntosh, head of brand and communications at Arcade 1UP. For a guy that's supposed to be head of communications, not really communicating with his audience at all. But he goes on to say, we understand that the excitement of purchasing a new arcade machine can sometimes be hindered by the assembly process, despite how easy we've tried to make it. Partnering with TaskRabbit removes the biggest barrier to enjoyment, the setup. Is that the biggest barrier? The setup? I think the price has been the biggest barrier. We can't wait to see all the amazing home arcades that come about from this partnership. Once again, the overuse of the word partnership is driving me absolutely crazy. If you've listened to your community, you know that nobody is saying this. There is a small segment of people that are saying this. This has been a problem for them. Putting these things together is confusing, is tough, is difficult. There are people that have said that, but that is not the vast majority of the community. That's not the community at large. We're not saying that. Now, there is a spot for this. There is a place for this. There's a use for this. And, nobody really says it better than a super chat. And James is here with that super chat. $5. Thank you so much for your super chat. And he says P-Dub's made a valid point about accessibility. Good solution to fill that need. Unless they advertise this service in store, not sure about other benefit. It's something that I think if you have limitations, any kind of physical thing that is going to prevent you from putting this together, or maybe if you are just absolutely intimidated by the process, you already are fully aware of apps like TaskRabbit and others. I know there's other handyman apps out there, and it is a great valid point to make. I'm not saying that there is no need for this, but just calling this a partnership and throwing it out there like you're listening to the community, to me, is a kind of a slap in the face to all of us that are saying different things. Okay, this is nice, but first off, you're not really partnership. It's not a real partnership. You're not really offering any specialized training for taskers if they so choose. There's not some training course that they can be certified and get a stamp on an RK1UP certificate. So it's not a real part. It's just they're just offering a coupon code. So just say that. Just say, yeah, we're going to give out a coupon code. Here you go. If you need some help putting these things together, here's a coupon code. Or maybe just knock $10 off of every arcade machine and call it an accessibility discount. I have no idea. They could have done this so many different ways. But James, great valid points as always. Thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. Really do appreciate it. What am I going to do for you? Here you go.
Finish him. Scorpion wins. Fatality.
So if you had an arcade 1UP that was like back in the day, coming out with new products, we had something to look forward to, I don't think this would have made any splash at all. Because at the end of the day, this is not something worth getting upset about. It's not. In a vacuum, by itself, this is nothing to get upset about. And I'm not upset about it. It's just disappointing that the only partnership we're hearing about from Arcade 1UP is a handyman service. And when you say in the article that you're listening to the community as a top priority, I find that hard to believe. I find that really hard to believe whenever you put this out as on the forefront. This is what you're going to lead with, is a $10 coupon to TaskRabbit. So once again, I think we're stuck with same old Arcade 1UP, trying to make something out of nothing, where they're really out of ideas. And listen, what's the point of having a coupon, offering a coupon, having a partnership with TaskRabbit, with a handyman service to put together cabinets that nobody's buying? Okay, moving on to the final and most exciting. I hope it's the most exciting. The most exciting part of the show is going to be Unico and the Nova Blast. And the biggest question that's been out there since we've been talking about this from the very beginning, and it has been, when is this thing going to ship? When is it getting here? What's going on with the Nova Blast? Well, that's a really good question, because a lot of us have spent a lot of money on this thing so far. A lot of money's gone out the door, a lot of pre-orders, and it gets to this point where we get a little bit nervous. What's going on? What are we doing? Well, let's talk about it. So this is behind the scenes. If you talk about a company, a product, whatever, viewers like Retro Rick 1990 will reach out and say, hey, listen, nobody's talking about this, and there's no official release date, and Unico's not saying anything, and the YouTubers and the people out there aren't saying anything. And I think it's all valid, right? This is all valid stuff, because, I would be nervous too. But Retro Rick 1990, a couple days ago, I think it was like 3 days ago, had a comment on one of my videos and said, I've got news from Unico. I ordered my Nova Blast on April 4th. Unico said, unfortunately, my order will be shipped only at the end of May, and will probably get in like June someday, and it's it's frustrating, and it's not a good thing when you're not hearing direct communication from the company. You're not hearing anything official from any source. There's no articles, there's no coverage, there's nothing officially from the company. And so it's been crickets, and then this stuff begins to sort of leak out. And I cut out most of the email, but basically the message in that email is what you see on the right-hand side. It says, sorry to advise you that shipment is delayed. It will be shipped the end of May from the factory. Local delivery will be in June. So this is what he received, I believe it's from Shopify, which is a service that they're using, or he used. And so he got this from it. And so, of course, I'm like, well, we need to address this. We have to do something about this. And so let me go to the next one. So I actually just started talking to, the people at Unico, saying you should really address this. And it wasn't something I did. They knew they had to address it. They were trying to figure out the right way to do it. And I was sharing information like this, saying, listen, people are not, they're getting a little bit antsy because you said April. And that's what they said. They said April. Now, they weren't very specific. I think they were being non-specific for a very good reason. They don't want to be committal. They don't want to lock something down, miss a ship date. And shipping dates can be just artificial. They're just set. They need to be set realistically. Customers need to understand exactly what they're getting, when they're getting it, and all that. But, when you don't provide any information, a lot of anxiety out there. And I totally get it. So there's stuff like this going on that I see, and I was passing this along. I was forwarding this along, trying to get maybe a little bit of information out there. There has been some conversations back and forth, and finally, they decided to go ahead and share some information with the community, and it is exactly what they needed to do. Like I said, we had some discussions behind the scenes, and this was something they came up with. I didn't tell them what to say, but I did get a chance to look at it, and I was like, man, that's what you need to do. Let everybody know. And so they actually posted it. It's really, really cool that they went into this much detail. Let's go ahead and talk about it right now. This is what they said. This is the original post on Facebook, which is the way, if you want to stay up to date on what they're doing, check out Facebook. And then, of course, I'm going to cover it here as soon as I'm allowed to talk about this stuff. I said, we're working on Nova Blast cabs updates, always to make the product better. You may ask why no shipment update. And the answer is, and this is been a big deal, and it's that 26-inch Pro monitor. It's the monitor that's going to be upgraded with the potentiometers in the back of the control board. Now that will eventually make it to all the 26-inch monitors, but that was a big issue when you just want to take your CGA connection right off your arcade board, plug it in, and fine-tune that. Having those pots right on the board was going to be really helpful, and then the compatibility and all that. So they're making some final updates to make sure that it works with ITS, Namco, and Midway boards. Now, remember, I put one of these in my Cruisin' World cab, and I've had that issue where it cuts off the image on the very bottom. So that was kind of frustrating. So they're working to resolve that. And so that needs about 2 to 3 more weeks to be completed, which, okay, that's fine. That's okay. You're giving us a clear, this is the issue you're working on. This is what you're trying to resolve, and here's a time frame we can get that taken care of. So that's good. We also have made updates for the custom JAMA board, which is that's the thing that it's a fully custom PCB that they're using to interface with all these different boards and then break out to their device. And this is going to be in regards to the support for the kick harness, which is something that I brought up in my review, in my conversations, was, hey, some of these boards require a separate connector for the 6 buttons. It's not all just included in the JAMA harness. What are you going to do to accommodate that? This is what they're trying to do. And then they're also working on the metal base that will support 3 doors in the front. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, instead of just that the big access door they had. And then here's where they really start getting specific. We will start manufacturing by the end of May and in the middle of June, and start to ship via cargo container, which will arrive in the U.S. around early July. So they're going to ship from, shipping and global travel, global trade routes are definitely something that's been kind of up in the air lately with all the unrest in the world. So that's going to be interesting to see. Hopefully that's not impacted at all, and we can get these things in July for sure. They go on to say, we will show our improvements in videos and pictures every week on social media, and soon ship to influencers to get reviews on the Nova Blast Candy Cap. In the spirit of transparency and your request for the updates, we felt you needed to know as soon as possible about these delays. We want to make this the best all-in-one, bring you arcade PCB and gaming console device candy cap. It's our passion to It's our passion, pride, honor to do the best we can for you, the customers. And then they talked about the pictures and all that. They'll be posted in the morning, which they did do. I woke up and I saw that they had done that. I'm like, oh crap, I got to do another slide. But anyway, let's talk about. So what are they talking about here? These are one of the things that I want to discuss. Boom, right here. So in my review, I was talking about. This was one of the things that I kind of had a gripe about, because this whole base underneath here is going to be a great spot to put your PC. It's going to be a great spot to put, anything, right? And they had this big swinging door on the front. And if you want to have an actual coin mech, you have to have a wire attached to it. So I was like, guys, this is going to require some kind of cable management or something to open this thing, to swing this thing open, and that cable there. It's just, you got to do something here. I didn't think they were actually going to do what they're actually talking about. And I got to see this a couple days ago before they posted it, and I thought it was really cool. And they refer to it in the message there. They're changing this from a simple big swinging door to three doors. Now, what does that mean? What are we talking about? Well, if you know the candy cabs, this is my my Astro City. This is the cabinet that is sort of inspired all this. You've got three separate doors. You've got the big door where, in my case, the PCB slides in. You get the power supply. You got all that over there on the left-hand side, that big door. And then on the right-hand side, you have two different doors. One holds the coin collection, the coin bin, and then above that is a coin mech. So they have separate doors with locks. In the case of the, I think they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna have locks or they're gonna. Yeah, they are. They're gonna have. That's right. It comes with a set of locks. So they're gonna have some locks. They're going to be able to lock those doors. So if you don't want to mess with the coin mech, you don't have to. It's going to be its own door. There's going to be a big door on the left. You can open that up, and that's where your PC is going to be, or maybe your PCB or your game console, whatever will be down there. You can also put it in the back if you just buy the bar top, but the base is going to be so much more usable now. This is going to make just a ton of sense. Instead of just a big swinging door. I thought that was probably the cheaper way to go, and it's fine. It makes sense. But this is going to be so much nicer. And I didn't know I was going to be able to share this. Let me go ahead. Give me just a second. No, kill that. I got to see if I can download this. It's been a hell of a morning, guys. Hell of a morning. And, okay, there it is. Open that up. And just a couple hours ago, or 1 hour ago, I think, they actually went ahead and showed these pre-production images that I can, since they put it on social media, I can show with you. Here's some of the improvements we're talking about. You can kind of see, we'll get to the front of the base in just a second. That the JAMA board, the custom JAMA board that they have right there is kind of the heart of everything. It's going to break out everything. They're trying to accommodate everything. There's no exaggeration. They're trying to do the best that they can to accommodate everything. And okay, let's just call it what it is, because of all these delays. Because I am in Taiwan, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and I don't appreciate this. But I got somebody blowing my cover right here, right now. P-Dubs is in the chat talking about, due to the delay, Fox went overseas to pick his own unit up personally. I cannot confirm or deny that. But dude, you're blowing my cover. I'm a secret double agent. What are you talking about, man? Thank you so much for being here, brother. I always appreciate the super chats. I always appreciate the love. Here you go. Okay, so no, I didn't pick up my own. I didn't. I would, but no, I couldn't fit in my carry-on. So you're talking about the JAMA board there. They've made a lot of changes to that to accommodate the different kick harness. The image on the very bottom, it's kind of hard to see. There's a small circle that is showing the fact that they have the DB. What is it? The DB5 connectors on the front have been removed. And also the headphone jacks are not going to be on the front. They're going to be on the side. So player 2 will be on the right side. Your headphone jack will be over there. And then player 1, the headphone jack is going to be on the left-hand side. So it's going to be on either side of the cabinet. So you're not going to, if you're gaming and you both have a headset in, your wires aren't going to be connected or hitting each other or getting all tangled. This is a big thing. I think this makes the base a lot more usable. And it makes a lot more sense. There's an image of, I guess this is a CAD drawing of the actual base with a 3-door setup. Remember, just like this here, you're going to see something very, very similar. And it just makes this makes a ton of sense. The base was nice. The base is solid. The base is constructed well, but that big swinging door was an issue. It really was an issue. If not for no other reason, having that coin mech there didn't make a lot of sense. They could have taken the coin mech and moved it to the other side, so it's closer to the hinged side of the door, so that the cable would be out of the way and you could still use it. And that probably would have been fine. But this, I think, is the better way to go. It's much more authentic. If you want to set this up and actually run this and have this in an arcade, this makes a lot more sense. You can keep the game board and the PC or whatever locked up. And then if you just want to get the change out, just open up the coin bucket on the bottom. But keeping everything compartmentalized is a great way to go. It's exactly what they should have done. So I'm really, really glad they're going to not only do that, but that they've actually shared that with everybody. And that's a big part of the process, is being open, being transparent, and sharing what we're doing with the community, especially when you're asking for money up front. And that's what is the big thing with all these companies. They're asking for money up front. They're asking for you to buy in and believe in them and believe in what they're doing, with not that much to go on initially in the beginning. Now, it does get better a little bit after time. You see stuff start to trickle out. But when you throw out a date, even though it was just a month, trying to be as vague as possible because you don't want to upset anybody, even though it was just a month, when you say things like April, man, you got to be able to, as we get closer to April, or we're actually in the month that you're supposed to be shipping these things, you got to be more transparent. You got to be upfront. You got to catch these things before they snowball and get out of control, and you get people disappointed before they even get the cab. And I'm glad they did what they did. I'm excited about the improvements that they're going to make. I'm excited about what I've seen before, and I actually believe in what they're doing. This is something that's really cool. This is giving people the opportunity to own something that's very similar to a candy cab, which is something most people can't afford, most people can't get their hands on. And you're doing it, you're saving a ton of money. So I think this is probably not going to answer everybody's questions. It's probably not going to put everybody's mind 100% at ease. Pay attention, stay on top of them, and don't let up. Keep the questions coming. Keep the pressure on, not only Unico, but everybody else, because, they have to fight to earn your money, because you had to fight to earn your money. Would you look at that?
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Okay, the glitchy stream is going to have to be wrapped up because I'm just looking at it and it's killing me. But guys, I am headed home tomorrow, which means next week, this week, next week, sure. The next show is going to be undigitized. It's going to be smooth streaming, nice. I'm going to be back home in my beloved arcade. I'm probably just going to walk in and walk past my wife and just hug the arcades. For what's going to happen. But before we go, we got to talk about that poll question. Let's talk about the poll question. And it was, where is it? Simply this. Okay, so 102 votes. Everybody, thank you. I know this has been a rough one, but thank you so much for hanging out with me and putting up with me. 105 votes. Here's a simple question. What do you think about A1up's new partnership? Okay, you had a couple options. It's great. Who cares? Where are the new games? And no surprise, coming in at number one is where are the new games? Now, a not insignificant amount, 32% said who cares? And I think that's valid. Come on, who cares? This is not something to get upset about. It's not even something to really be worried about, But when you look at everything, when you look at in totality, the fact that there's been a total lack of anything, any kind of real partnerships or connections or anything new from A1up, it's just sad to see that this is all we have to talk about. But yes, where are the new games? Taking the top spot, taking 55% of the vote. Everybody, unfortunately, there's not going to be an after show because it is now 7 o'clock and I have to get ready to go to work for the last day in Taiwan. Everybody, I hope you have a relaxing evening. Hope you have a great week moving forward. Don't work too hard. Work just hard enough to earn that paycheck. Have a blessed day, and I will see all of you on the flip side. I'll go back in time, and I'll join you in the same time zone next week. See you here. Peace.